Good morning, guys. It's a good sign. Tux is hungry, eating his breakfast. We have just a few drops of rain. Wasn't really supposed to rain till this afternoon. I've got the other guys up the hill already, and the white rose of Sharon has some flowers starting to open. It's muggy, and I already have a mosquito bite on my shoulder I'm not too happy about. Hey, Gray. I always feel like we're off to see the wizard. I don't know why that is. I guess it's just my age. All set? Looks like the guys have mowed, blown, and weeded where we parked Jules and are just finishing up on the other side. So we smiled at them as we got out. Hopefully they'll make all good decisions while we're walking about not needing to come back over by Jules. Oh, I'm so appreciative that the town keeps the town looking nice. But really, in the mornings on our walk, I would just love it if we didn't have to hear lawnmowers. Especially multiple days in a row. It's grating. All that loud gas engine stuff. Yeah. Mr. Dark Side. Is that how you feel when you join me for exercise in the morning? You're in the dark side?
It's just like I said the other day. It's easy exercise when it's nice and dry, blue sky, white puffy clouds with a nice breeze. That's easy. Anybody can do that. If it was like that all the time, we'd all be ripped, buff people. The real exercise is this dull, boring, gray, rainy, cold. When you're actually doing exercise during that, you know you're actually have. Well, the scale was kind to me this morning, and so was the percent body fat. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to enjoy our walk this morning. Right. Oh, at least it's just the sound of our walking here on this part of the trail. The construction hasn't kicked into high gear. There's nobody mowing or blowing or weed eating or anything. We haven't come across anybody yet. I didn't wear my head sweat hat, which was probably a mistake, but so far it's okay. It's not raining hard enough to matter. And it's very humid out here today. It's not oppressive because the sun's not out, but it's very humid, and my main concern is bug bites. When the humidity is at this level, the mosquitoes bite worse, and the horseflies and other things. So far so good on the trail though. Good morning, Bunny. Hello. Hi. Bye. It's pretty quiet up here this morning. Yep. 3 cars. I do see a couple of women walking the track. Yes. And it's a little early for the splash pad, and we're going to have rain this afternoon, so I'm guessing they're not prepping the ball fields for today because they know it'd be pointless. Our pace is good, I believe. We're on our second loop here at the track. It's going pretty good this morning. Yeah. I feel like our conversation and pace are right on top notch. Yeah. I'm staying higher while walking on a flat surface, which means we've picked up our pace a little bit. Yeah. There's my tangerine, or is that?
Yeah, I think tangerine, orange. Yeah, I think, yeah, tangerine dream, we'll go with that, right?
Dreamsicle girl.
Yeah. So I was telling Don our schedule today, I think the only mandatory thing is Johnny in-person Taekwondo at 7 p.m. Now, they're pretty much trying to go all back in person. Yeah. Less, and that's good. It's time. Yeah. It's time. The masters are all vaccinated. All the teenage kids pretty much are vaccinated. So yeah. I'm totally good with that. Haven't quite broke it to Johnny yet. That probably means back to 3 classes a week.
Yeah, he probably
end up at the Dojang. But we'll, you know, we'll work our way
into
that direction. We're starting to get confirmation letters from St. Augustine's University, because I think I've described before that Johnny's in an early college high school, which is a Wake County public school, but you had to apply with an essay and get selected. And he'll be on the college campus. He'll take 1 English regular high school. Actually, I think his English is going to be a college class too. I think he has 1 high school class and the rest will be college level classes. So he's going to have a full plate. It's going to be like switching schools. He'll be off the Thompson campus where he's been for 1, 2, 4 years, and he'll be over at St. Augustine's. At this time, I'm still planning on doing robotics, because I'll still be driving and Johnny will be up there and they need me, and I don't want to let the kids down, and I've got all this equipment that can't just sit there and la 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 la. But I'm psyching myself up for it, kind of like Don psychs himself up for his run. Yeah. I am a little bit, but yeah, August 3rd, if that's a Monday, that's Johnny's first day of school. It's coming up quick.
Yeah, gosh.
Summer is short and it's coming up quick.
Yeah.
All right, Donnie, bye. It did start to rain a little bit heavier here at the end of our walk. You can see the ground's wet now, but it's was only light. It was never moved to moderate. Lesson learned about not wearing my pretty pink hat though. 47 minutes and change, 2.2 miles, and my heart rate's in the 150s coming off the hill. I told Don I was going to walk over here, the parking lot, to make sure I got the rest of my steps, but I think I'm going to go into the woods at this entrance and come out of the woods over there at that entrance and see how that goes for me versus walking this little loop in the parking lot 4 or 5 times to get the rest of my desired steps. The only reason why this would be bad is if I get bit up. Since it started raining and the breeze picked up a little bit, I'm not as worried. Like I said, in the fall, I can certainly see us walking in here, figuring out an efficient way to get in 2 miles, but summertime is not necessarily. Yeah, you can see the parking and the honeysuckle trail over the bridge over here back to the maintenance building, which is basically the parking lot. So I'm going to do that and see how that goes. Yeah, it's the wrong time of year to walk through here back to the house, and it's not really a dedicated trail, and kind of has you coming in sort of between 2 properties, let's say, right on the property line we felt comfortable with. But it's just not the right time of year to do that with the poison ivy. You know, in the winter time, January, February, March, I'll do that. Or I'll do that, you know, at least a time or 2. That's the big bridge that takes you out to the western side of the park and along the really nice water. You would go to the right here. I'm going to go to the left because I'm trying to do this little loop that's at the parking lot, but not the parking lot. A hummingbird trail. And there is one really great view in this direction too. A huge rock would be great for taking pictures or hanging out at the right time of the year or any of that stuff. A little elevation, but not much. It's short. And you can see all the tree roots, and you can see this hasn't been mulched like the other trails. Still a nice park though. Pretty much anything goes over here. They're not fussy about pets. They're not fussy about kids playing in the creek, dogs swimming. It's not fussy. I would call this the town not fussy park, because they haven't made a lot of additional improvements. So as long as you don't leave the bathroom a mess, you're good. Yeah, I bet with this rain we'll see more mushrooms out. Here's where I'm going, but because I have time, I'll show you this nice overlook here. This has been here a long time, this park. You can see these, the treated lumber is very grayed out, but in still good shape. And you can kind of see the view down. This is connected to the water that runs in front of our house, the intermittent creek. It's really pretty over there. That's the nice rock formation I was telling you about. Right now it's easy accessible too. you would have no problem exiting the little overlook and walking over to that rock area. Although, you know, there's moss on those rocks and they're slippery as you know what. Don't fall and hit your head. I guess I'll come back out this way. Seems like people do that on a regular basis. And the turn back to the parking lot. Last time I was here, I told you guys they have a haunted trail here at Halloween. They do a less scary one at dusk or late afternoon, and then they do a full out scare one at dusk into the evening, and it attracts several hundred people. I need to get Michelle and her family over here this year. Johnny probably would not enjoy it, but maybe if he was with Kyle, Devin, and Connor. Connor, Devin, and Ariel. Michelle's kids. He would enjoy it okay. Didn't cut it short on purpose, but it came back closer to the bathrooms than I intended. I'm not over here on the side where I thought I'd be. So I probably still don't have quite enough steps. Let me see where the entrance is over here and walk it backwards one time back over to Jules, and I think I'll be good on steps for the day. You know, this is a different skill set here with the uneven ground, and things are a little wet, and I'm paying attention to my feet a little bit more. Yeah, I would say there's really no trail from the parking lot to the trailhead. It's just walk through the grass. This is, instead of honeysuckle, this is Holly Ridge. You can see that I'm really at the other end of the park. I guess when I took the first jog, oh, there's the parking lot. I was supposed to keep going and take the second jog. Oh, there's the parking lot. So, but I'm learning it for next time, and I'm just being careful here. These rocks are as hilly. It's an incline, and the rocks, you know, they move under your feet, and I just don't want to go down on my butt this morning. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm sure I probably could go either direction, but since I'm trying to understand all the ins and outs of the trail that runs pretty parallel to that curve in the parking lot asphalt, I'll go this way. Yeah, before they had the Jeff Wells Trail and the nice running track up at South Park, Dawn used to run down here. And, you know, it had a lot of, it's pretty uneven. You could hurt your ankle if you're running and you don't, you know, step properly. And then there was the times when it would be raining and there would be a lot of water, plus the roots and stuff, and then the bugs, all of that good part. And obviously, okay, so that is the middle. That's where I went the first time. That is Honeysuckle Lane. But I want to stay on Holly Ridge until I get to the entrance at the parking lot that's closer to Jules. I'm learning. I used to bring the kids over here when they were little. Like I said, they're not fussy at this park, so if the kids wanted to pick up rocks and throw them into the creek bed, this was a park where a kid could be a kid without it being a wildlife refuge. I mean, honestly, there's some really pretty things here, but with all of the privet in this park and stuff, it's, yeah. I mean, I don't really think people should go down there and damage that, although the rocks obviously aren't going to, you know, people could walk on them for the next 100,000 years and they would still probably not change. I am glad we have parks of all kinds around. I think that's how I want to say it. Hemlock Bluffs Nature Preserve and Cary is another wildlife refuge like Yates Mill. You have to be really careful about what you do in there, and you know, you show up at the park and you do follow the park rules. If it's your kind of park, come back a second time. If it's not, choose a different one the next time. It's pretty simple. I was at the turn, but I thought I'd come over here to this one more overlook. Show you guys just a little bit more of the scenery here before I head to the car. Yeah, Model 3 owners, they really like to come in here all year round. You can see there's a U here, so I'm pointing one direction where the water goes, and then it comes around the bend right below the overlook here and goes out the other direction. And I'm up high, so it could be roaring down there pretty low, pretty big time, and up pretty high. You can see where it's been up high, where it's been up 6 or 8 feet. I think that's just wind and not more rain. It could be more rain, doesn't matter. Anyway, this park does have some beautiful spots. It's just, it also has a lot of privet. But if you were local and looking for a place to let your dog take a swim, that would probably be pretty safe off leash for a few minutes. As long as you didn't come at the peak times on weekends, this would probably be your park. Fuquay does have a dog park, and you know, I've never parked and gone over there. I don't know what it looks like or anything, because by the time they had it, I didn't have a dog anymore. And I never had a dog that was all athletic and wanting to be around other dogs. Dog park kind of a dog anyway. And just being careful. You know, I started to have less balance. Even when I was at Taekwondo, you know, Taekwondo should have been helping my balance. And even back then, that wasn't really happening. We don't know why. Older, chemo, overweight, you take your pick. But we all know that sprains and broken stuff would not be good for me. So, you know, I've learned to be careful. I don't have to run down it with abandon like I'm 10 or something. I can still enjoy myself and exercise some common sense and caution. Yeah, if I went straight here, I'd get down to the pretty bridge that goes over the bigger water. It's right there in front of me. Actually, it's only like another 40 feet, so let me just show you that. But there's the parking lot. I would have to say this is probably would be agreed upon by the majority of people the most scenic spot in the park, except with water, except for maybe where those rocks were I showed you. But and the water is pretty high since we had a little over 2 inches. It's not drought low, it's not August level low, it's pretty high. I have pictures of the kids here in the water playing one year when it wasn't this high. Mostly they were picking up things. They just went down to the end and walked here. I stood up here filming, and mostly they were just throwing sticks and stuff in and watching the water splash and having a grand old time being kids. Well, I've been lucky and not had any bug bites. So if you walk this way, you come up to the right-of-way for the high power lines. And then you go back into some more woods. You can hit Highway 401, which is on the back side of the park over there. And, you know, we'll do that on a different day. Exit. You know, I don't normally take that, but it says that's the Hummingbird Trail. And this is Persimmon Path back to the parking lot, back to Jules. Thank goodness the road that's near this park is not super traveled by large vehicles like Lake Willow Road is over by Yates Mill. You can kind of hear the traffic on 401 and Wagstaff, which is the closer road, but it's not super busy. So you guys have heard me talk on occasion about Hurricane Fran, usually with respect to Yates Mill. This placard says, on September 6, 1996, a Category 3 storm slammed into North Carolina's coast. Phew, with sustained winds of 115 miles per hour and gusts as high as 125 miles per hour. More than 10 inches of rain fell on the interior of North Carolina and multiple lives were lost. Flooding and power loss were frequent across the state, leading to a state of emergency being declared in all 100 counties of North Carolina. Wake County's experience, it needs apostrophe S, Wake County experienced very high tree fall. There's a mistake in that sentence. Although more than 15 years ago, if you look closely, you can see evidence of the downed trees here in Carol Howard Johnson Environmental Education Park. And Don told you, he stopped counting at 16 trees down in his yard. You know, ones that were substantial enough to notice. He was in Hawaii, I believe. And there were trees down across the driveway. I know his friend Larry came to the house and walked around and said no trees on the house, no breached windows. Most of us around here without power for 7 or more days. It was a big deal. So hope that was a once in a lifetime. It came in at Wilmington. It basically came right up I-40 for Raleigh. At my house in Willow Spring, where I was at the time, there was about a 30-minute break in the storm as the eye wall passed over. So I was out in the middle of the night. That's when these storms always hit, right? When you can't see a darn thing and all you can hear is tree limbs beating the house. I was out in the middle of the night with my dogs. Then back in the house as the storm whipped around, the winds in the opposite direction. It was scary. So, besides being out of breath, 110.39, 2.9 miles, and my heart rate at the moment is in the 160s coming up that hill. Oh, the air. 8148 steps. I said 2.9 miles, right? Yeah. Oh, that air feels so good. I enjoyed walking into the park. I would do it again if I had the choice. I'm glad I went in there. If it pours this afternoon and I don't get a lot more steps in except for around the house incidentals, I'll feel like I've got an acceptable amount of exercise today now. I mean, I'm already all hot and sweaty. What's another 10 or 15 minutes, right? I'm out here with Gray and Panther. I'm trying to get Gray used to coming and sitting with me on this step and versus the sidewalk on the other side. Hi, honey. Because she likes to cuddle her mama. And, you know, the other cats come over there and then she goes away because she's a girl. She don't want to cause no trouble. Come here. She'll work her way up to it. Gray is a very cat-like cat. Slow, methodical. Alright, she's rubbing up against me now. That's good. She has to have her 5 to 10 minutes a day of preferred attention. It's okay, honey. Well, you'll work your way up to it. It'll be a good experience this time, and the next time it'll be an even better one. I sort of mentioned a small project to Don. I'd like to take a piece of wood, maybe 2 feet wide by enough overhang to go from one side there of the opening to the other. Put some of that outdoor blue carpet on it and, you know, 2 screws on both sides to hold it in place. So there's a little bit more of a laying area over there for the cats. That should be pretty easy to do. And then I'd probably also like to put a little shelf up on that rail down there on the end. Just, you know, since Gray and Slate are hanging out with Panther more, it just gives cats more options of places to lay and be where it's safe. Because they can see stuff come up the stairs from up there. It's very defensible. And then they can make decisions about how to, you know, handle that. Probably should call Morris and Marty back up near the house. Or maybe it'll rain a little harder and they'll just come. But I did some measuring over here, and 50 long by 24 wide would be nice. And some of you guys right away are going, darn, 50, that's not a good width. Because, you know, sheets of plywood, 8 feet, give or take. We usually take. And, you know, cut in half, that's 48. It's not 50. I went and looked at the pieces we got, a scrap. And first off, there are no scrap pieces of treated plywood. Just some regular stuff. Although some of it's been painted white with an enamel paint. And for what I'm going to put carpet over it, it'd probably be okay. Because it is real plywood. It's not particle board or anything. But it'd have to be pieced together. I mean, it's really got to be 50 wide, right? Because if you think about it, the steps are probably 4 feet, and then you got to have an inch overhang for screws. I mean, it could be 52 inches or 54 inches, but it's got to be at least 50 inches. I think 49.5 would be the bare minimum and get the screws in nicely. You know, I'm not going to stand on it. Neither's Johnny. Just needs to support, let's just say, 20 pounds a cat. 2 cats. So I'm going to have to give that some more thought. I thought maybe I'd do it myself. But, yeah, I'm going to have to wait for Dawn, the engineer. Okay, I see Stripe, Marty, and Morris. I still don't know where Tux is. I'm not worried about Tux. I saw him before we left. But I heard some noise down here, and cats didn't sound necessarily happy, so I'm walking down here to see what's going on. And if it's just Stripe, Marty, and Morris, and Tux isn't there, we're good. I only see 3 heads. But God help us if Tux is down there with all 3 of them. That would not be good. What you doing? You playing and having fun? You guys know you can get ticks in that tall grass, right? Hi. Stripe was just coming, Marty. I don't think he was actually after you. Hi. I don't see a Tux. I still just see a Morris. Like I said, since Tux got in trouble down here yesterday with somebody, and I'm pretty sure it was Stripe, I'm just, you know, if I even suspect something's not right, I'm going to go try to break it up. Can always toss a stick in their direction or something. And if Tux is here, he's not making any noise. Hi! Morris's pupils are huge, like he's concerned about something though. I don't see Tux. I don't think Tux is here. Alright guys, I did toss a stick towards Morris. Please understand I would never hit one of the cats. I would startle them though, to break them up or whatever. Morris is down there. Don't mess near the possum hole. You come on out, buddy. Ooh, if them possums are in there, that could be bad. He went in the hole. Not good. Anyway, he came out. He'll come out in a minute. If he would not be down there where he could accidentally trap Tux, that would probably be good. I don't need him accidentally pinning Tux down here by the creek. I can keep an eye on him better where I can see him clear up near the house. Come on, Stripey. Morris, Marty. Johnny should be up soon, and I will look for Tux and get him in the house and get him his antibiotic. I'm just down here taking a minute to enjoy my pretty wet lilies. They only bloom, you know, the buds only last a day, although they bloom for 10 to 14 days probably in a cluster here. So I want to make sure I spend a minute every day to enjoy them while they're here and looking so pretty. So I had an order of Lego parts come yesterday. The main reason for this order were these masonry brick-looking bricks. You know, they have the little brick pattern in them. That's for the foundations on that orange, dark orange Second Empire house. So technically I could get started on that if I wanted to now. The sand blue I've been collecting when somebody has the parts, and this bright light yellow color is possibly for that one Lego Friends modular modification one I showed you guys the other day. I don't remember the name of that one offhand. But I think I'm going to go work on that parts bin. I'm several days. You know, I've got several more days of sorting probably over there, and I should get it out of the kitchen, and that'll keep me busy. I'll at least work on that for an hour, and then I can always start on the foundation or go do something else, or I don't know. The sorting is coming along well. You can see the bottom of the bin on this corner. And I am making chicken tenders for Johnny for lunch. It's chicken cutlets, Parmesan cheese, coconut flour, egg, and some seasonings. Garlic powder, salt, a dash of cayenne. I'm sure it's hard for you to tell how much I have or haven't done, but I've done a lot. It's 2:15. I'm going to stop for now. I'm sure, see, it's not very deep in there anymore. I'm sure it's a full you know, 2 more sessions at least. It could be 3 or 4. You know, as you pull out all the big ones, you're left with all the little ones, and the little ones take longer to sort. So it is what it is. I've made a lot of progress, and I'm going to stop on it for today. We have had another 1.7 inches of rain since the last 3 or 4 hours. I mean, it's come down. We've had some rain again. My understanding is the heavier rain is south and east of us, and we are out of the woods for any severe weather here, or really any additional major rainfall. I guess technically it might still be spitting out there a little bit right now, but I didn't end up going out in Ruby. I did that Lego stuff and fixed Johnny lunch, and then it was 2 o'clock, and then I got the feeling a little off, so I rested for a bit, and I'll be taking Johnny to Taekwondo when it's time to do that, and cooking, and, you know, pretty kicked back this afternoon. No must-dos out in the car at any point. I got Johnny dropped off for his Taekwondo class, and I've got, essentially I had 35 minutes before I had to be back over there, so I thought I'd walk around Home Depot for a minute. Donna and I had a plate of nachos for our appetizer before I left, and they were pretty yummy. I probably should have ate less of them. Sure did close the garden center door early. I guess maybe they're having trouble getting help just like everybody else. There's all these stories in the newspaper here about businesses in need of employees. I looked at wood, and I looked at closet shelving, and I didn't come up with anything easily that would be 50 inches. You know, that everything is 4 feet, and I understand why it's 4 feet. I also tried to buy a piece of remnant carpet, and the flooring associate was on lunch, and apparently takes an hour lunch, and had only been gone 30 minutes, but they tried to page someone, and of course no one came. And then I took the remnant up front to try to get help pricing with it, and I got the impression they probably thought I was trying to pull something on them, which I wasn't. And there won't be nobody else that wants that remnant. But anyway, research, and I'm now late for Johnny. So that's like Starry Night, Van Gogh, Stormtrooper. It's another shirt I got for him at Guardian Angel. Looks good though, it fits good too. Yeah. So Don was the empathetic husband. I told him I wanted to do this little project with the kitty shelf by myself and not need no help because he's so busy. I just thought I'd handle it. And like I told you guys earlier, 50 inches was bad. Well, when I told Don the span was 50 inches, you know, he just says it's always that way. It's always... He said the only thing worse would have been like 48.5 inches because, although, you know,
Mike could have made up
a quarter sheet or a half a sheet, it's really not quite 48 exactly. Yeah, after they plane it and all that stuff. But anyway, and I told Don I tried to buy that remnant piece of carpet up there, and I said, I'm pretty sure they should have charged me $13 for it. Go through the math with me. And he said, yes, kitten, it was $13. And I guess, like I said, the one girl to check out, she really tried to help. And the one guy that called for the associate that was not there in the store because they'd gone to lunch, he was really tried to help. But the manager that came over that little tiny piece of remnant, and I'm not happy with her. I would like to not run into her again up there because it wasn't the customer service I was looking for at that point. And have a backup in the store, or train someone at the register, or trust a customer that has a degree in math. That's right. One of the two.